Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Remy Chukwunyere, and I am your host on the Leadership Show. This afternoon is going to be a great. I'm so amazed and excited about the topic, and then the guests that we have on the show this afternoon. So it's a pleasure to have you, Ma SALEEMA Vellani. So, like I
Hi, Remy.
Yeah, I don't know why we have this right now. Hello, can you hear me, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, sorry, I think terrible weather issue here. Sorry about that. So, oh, sorry. Like I said before, we are so sorry for the network failure that we experienced a few minutes ago. So sorry, it's really a pity. So I was trying to do an introduction about our guest and the subject matter that we have to discuss today. So like I said before, our focus is on the concept of hybridpreneurship, which according to our guest, Professor SALEEMA, hybridpreneurship is the act of wearing multiple hats, often as a master generalist, to grow your business from the ground up while financially sustaining yourself, embracing your passions, constantly learning and building your community. Several reports have revealed that most first-time entrepreneurs lack the skills and finances needed to grow their status. Therefore, by being able to financially sustain themselves, they can invest in growing their businesses and teams while acquiring the skills needed to sustain their enterprises in the workplace. They can also afford to fail since they are not dependent on the market terms in the early stages, as well as also incorporate their passions into their business models so that the journey will be less stressful and more enjoyable. Professor of Social Entrepreneurship and Innovation Strategies and a serial entrepreneur. She's an international keynote speaker and author of the book Innovation Starts with I. At the age of 21, she co-founded and launched Brazil's top-rated language school to finance an orphanage and social development programs. Shortly after that, she also co-founded and ran a leading online translation agency in Italy to help companies expand their digital presence globally. For over 12 years, she has led 100 plus international organizations, non-profits, and Fortune 500 companies to their next stages of growth and innovation. At the moment, she is the founder and CEO of Ripple Impact, an accelerator and community that helps entrepreneurs grow their businesses and organizations. They also support entrepreneurs in business branding, marketing strategy, while also helping with execution, design, and other creative services. She is the professor of social entrepreneurship at University Startups and innovation strategy consultant to the World Bank, as well as she teaches design thinking and entrepreneurship at Johns Hopkins University in the USA. She holds a bachelor's degree in international development from McGill University and a master's in international economics and international relations from Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, our guest is a global leader in entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem. Therefore, it's a privilege to have her on the show this afternoon, and I'm sure you are ready, to learn from her. She's a master in this ecosystem, and it's a privilege to have you, Professor SALEEMA Vellani. Once again, I welcome you to the show this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Remy. How are you doing today?
I'm very fine. I'm very well. It's a pleasure meeting you. I know it's about 7 a.m. in Washington, D.C., and by the grace of God, you were able to sacrifice, your sleep to join us this afternoon. We're so grateful for the sacrifice.
Thank you. Yeah, no worries. I'm an early bird, so yeah, no, it's great. I'm happy to be on the show. Thank you.
Okay, very good, very good. So sorry for that little hitch that we had when we got on live. But it's just by the way, it's not going to happen again. I promise you. So I just said a brief about you, and talking about you being an innovation strategist, and consulting for World Bank and all of that. So is there anything else that you want us to know about?
Yeah, maybe I speak 5 languages, so that's kind of fun. I speak Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, and French, and lived in many different countries. And so yeah, big on languages and connecting with different cultures. And I especially, right now looking to do more travel and do more stuff, especially with my book launch in Africa, Middle East, and Latin America, which are some of my favorite regions.
Yeah. So that means you speak about 6 languages, right?
I speak 5.
Is it 6 or 5 or 7 languages?
It's 5, but I can speak a little bit of some other languages. So maybe you can say that's 6.
Okay. I volunteer to teach you Igbo language so that it will be 6 languages.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, very good. Yeah, before we get into the issues of the moment, there's something I would like my guests, the audience to know. I saw that you are an internationally rated keynote speaker, and to get you to speak in a conference, is about $15,000. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's for anything in person. Yeah, live.
So how are we so lucky that you are doing this for us for free?
You're pretty lucky. I'd say that. I do different podcasts and stuff, and I always like giving back to the community. So I always try to help as much as I can, and some things I'll do, just because I want to help or be of service. And then if it's, corporations or depends on the opportunity. But yeah, this is virtual, so it's also much easier than having to travel somewhere and go on a stage and everything. So
Fantastic. So yeah, it's a privilege to have you, on the show this afternoon. And just like you said, it's a way of giving back to the society, especially, for the African community. So it's a pleasure. We are so excited and glad that you offered to be here, to join us and to speak on this important subject matter. Fantastic. So let's go quickly and start a discussion. We are talking about hybridpreneurship. For some people it sounds strange, and for others maybe it's a new concept. So can you tell us, what this hybridpreneurship is all about?
Sure. So hybridpreneurship is essentially, it's not, a lot of people immediately think it's being able to work your full-time job and run a business on the side. And it can be that. But what I define hybridpreneurship is, there's 4 quadrants. And actually in my book that I'm publishing really soon on November 1st, I have this matrix, which explains the hybridpreneur. So, you can see there's 4 quadrants, and on the top, you see there's profit. So a hybridpreneur is able to, make money to support themselves and invest in their business. They also, taking part in their passion projects. They dedicate time towards their passion projects. They're constantly in the learning and growth mode. So they're embracing curiosity. And they're also constantly trying to make an impact and giving back to the community in a meaningful way. So they can be either an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, or both. It can be both an entrepreneur and entrepreneur. I think that we need to sort of move away from these labels, because entrepreneurship in its essence and its definition has shifted. Today, entrepreneurship is not just about starting a business. It's about trying to find a way to give value, and it's about trying to innovate, leverage existing things in new ways. And it really is a personal transformation journey. And I think that's why a lot of people are going into it. It's not just to start a business and run a business day in, day out. They're looking for a different lifestyle, a different way of thinking, a different way of being.
Okay, good. So that's all about hybridpreneurship. Very good. Last time I took it to the streets, and I wanted Nigerians and Africans, those of them that are connected with us, to talk about what they feel about hybridpreneurship, and how that can work for us in Nigeria. So let me ask, for here, we have people that just maybe jump into entrepreneurship, and not just they just go into entrepreneurship, not having any working experience in a private sector or even the public sector. So they just jump into that, and maybe that could be the reason why there's a high rate of failure in startups. So I want to ask, is this hybridpreneurship a good transition strategy for young entrepreneurs?
Yes, I agree. That is correct. And the reason why I think it's important to be both an entrepreneur and entrepreneur at the same time, especially if it's your first venture or early on in your career, is because you can leverage the different hats you wear. So if you're working for an organization, part-time, full-time, consulting, whatever it is, you can leverage that experience. You can learn, you can use that opportunity to get paid to learn something, to contribute to a bigger project that might have a bigger impact. You'll have the mentorship, you'll have resources, you'll have the ability to fail, and everything will be okay. You'll still get paid, and there's less risk, but also you'll be building relationships. You'll be trying to find a way to align it eventually, like learn skills that you otherwise wouldn't learn and apply that to your startup. And so I also think it takes a lot longer than we think to build a successful, sustainable business. And just the way the world is shifting with things constantly, just the pace that we're forced to reinvent ourselves in our careers and our organizations, it's important to diversify ourselves, just the way you would diversify your portfolio. If you're investing, same thing with yourself. You need to invest in yourself and diversify your different hats, who you are, the different personas and different career hats that you wear, in order to hedge, in order to it's actually less risky. You're able to adapt and be able to leverage the different hats. And so if one of them goes down, you have the other ones to rely on as well.
Okay, so we talked about leveraging your different hats. You could be let's say you are in a paid job, and then you have a kind of business that you are trying to build, and then you can also go for consulting, maybe short-term consulting or stuff like that. So I think that's what you mean by wearing different hats, right?
Exactly. You can wear different hats and leverage them. For example, when you read out my bio, it sounds like I do so many different things, but for me, they're all connected. I have, one team that I work with on my different projects. My speaking is all connected to the work that I do with Ripple Impact, the entrepreneurship path that I have, helping different entrepreneurs succeed through the accelerator. The work that I do supporting nonprofits, like everything's all connected around innovation and entrepreneurship, and the tools are all, the same across the board. The processes, the way that I do things, they're all connected. And so it doesn't feel like I'm doing so many different things. It all feels like it's just connected to the same mission and vision.
Okay. Okay, good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're reaching you from the Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa. And it's been, we've been talking with Professor SALEEMA VELLANI, an innovation strategist and the professor of social entrepreneurship. We're discussing hybridpreneurship, how to leverage your different hats, for success in business and in life generally. So at this juncture, I want us to go to the comment section and see what people have to say if there are questions for our guests on the show. Okay, good. This is good afternoon. I am happy to be here. Cosmos, thank you so much. Oh, my president is here. Good to have you on this center, Prof. That's my president, Ugwumba Uchemosu. Your Excellency, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us on the show. Okay, and this is okay, Famkwat, Dr. Famkwat Dabrak. Happy to have you here, madam. Thank you, Dabrak. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching, please come with your questions, your comments on the subject matter, because we have Prof is fully loaded to take all your questions and your comments. So thank you so much. So let's continue with the discussion. Okay, so talking about we are in the post-COVID era, so then if hybridpreneurship is about wearing many hats, different hats. So can you say that embracing this concept of hybridpreneurship will help in the post-COVID recovery?
Yeah, I think hybridpreneurship is excellent, just because in this post-pandemic era, there's a period right now that we're going through that things are, for example, in the US, there's overemployment going on. There's a lot of shuffling going on, people leaving jobs, joining new jobs. A lot of new jobs have been created in this future of work that we've automatically entered with the digital transformation that, the pandemic brought last year. And so hybridpreneurship, a lot of people left their corporate jobs or left their 9-to-5s to try to do entrepreneurship during this time. A lot of people that are entrepreneurs realized they couldn't adapt, fast enough with the digital world, and they took on jobs. And so we've seen that, it's become more accepted to, or not looked down upon to be an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur at the same time. And so I think that just before this period, starts to crystallize, right now, there's still a lot of shuffling going on, but, in a few months from now, or we don't really know how long it will take, but definitely, in a few to several months, or maybe even a couple of years from now, things will crystallize, and that's when things will set. And so right now, there's a lot of opportunity to be creative and, build new things. And there's a lot of opportunity to leverage the community, since a lot of people are sitting at home and they're online, and sure, a lot of us are very busy, but we're not traveling as much. And so it's an opportunity to build something, to leverage a lot of people that are looking for jobs in different parts of the world, and you can leverage that to build your business and, just build a remote team. And, it's very cost effective as well if you're working with different countries. And so I think that, it's a really great opportunity right now for entrepreneurs or anyone that's trying to build something, whether they want to have a profitable business in the next year or in 10 years from now, but to start building your name for yourself, building your platform. And even if you are not focused on the monetary aspects of the business right now, and you have a job that you're comfortable, but you want to start building something, start giving value to people, start seeing how you can be of service to other people. And through that, finding your sweet spot by giving value and seeing where you excel and where where people feel like you're giving the most value is where you can potentially be really successful as you build your business.
Okay. Okay, good. So, talking about hybridpreneurship, one of the advantages that you mentioned is that you can even afford to fail. You can afford to fail, since yes, your what do you call it now? You're not totally dependent on the market terms and what happens in the so you can afford to fail. So that brings me to the issue of success not being a good teacher. According to Robert Kiyosaki, he said that success is not a good teacher. So I want to ask you, what do you think about failing when building a business? Because here are some people, when they fail, they get discouraged and maybe leave, and stop trying. So for you, what do you have to say about failing when you build a business?
I think it's important to fail as soon as possible early on in the business, when you start your business, or when you're in the testing phase and you're not sure exactly what your business model looks like, you're not exactly sure what the strategy is, start testing. And like I said, start giving value and trying to help other people be successful, helping your customers achieve success. You want your customers to be wildly successful. And through that, you'll be able to figure out and make that pivot. Usually what you start your business on is not what usually ends up being. And so you want to test and then figure out that sweet spot, as I mentioned earlier. And, it's also important to fail, because through that we learn and we can make that pivot more intentionally. It's better than just trying to build your business without empathy for your customers.
Okay, so now let's go to your book, talking about innovation starts with I. Innovation starts, is it with me or with I? Which one?
It's actually called Innovation Starts with I. So, and with me, but I have a play on the cover with the I, and the word innovation. So, it probably doesn't work well with other languages, but in English, it's Innovation Starts with I. And yeah, it's launching November 1st and covers a lot of these concepts of hybridpreneurship, finding your sweet spot, helping people, reinvent themselves or their businesses. So it's great for entrepreneurs who are trying to, they want to use some innovation tools, and some of the unique tools that I've had in my own journey, I've used in my own journey and adapted, or some of the ones that I've also created to achieve success. It's basically like a really great handbook full of different tools and frameworks, and also a lot of wisdom from other entrepreneurs and innovators. And myself, I also traveled a lot. I went to Liberia, to Morocco, to many countries to give design thinking workshops and innovation workshops to entrepreneurs, so I could relate to them and make the book more global in the advice and in the tips it's giving.
Yeah,
and my main message,
just like you can see on the screen, I want, what's the main message? Yeah, in the book. Yeah, for some people that may not have access to it. So what is the main message?
Yeah, the main message is that innovation actually starts at the individual level. It starts with us. It's not about, innovation is no longer just about technology. It's about being human. And so having the human skills, and it starts with self-awareness. And we often think innovation is about empathizing just with your users and building something from there. But I think that the I component is becoming more and more important, because being able to understand who you are and what you can bring to the world, what your sweet spot is, that will determine the success of your business. It's not just about solving a problem. And that's where I think that the I, we often forget in the process of innovation, and having that self-awareness, and not just looking within yourself, but also learning about yourself through other people. It starts with I, but it actually happens with we. And it happens through collaboration and, building community, and then it has an impact on the world. And so it's about scaling, starting with I, building with we, and scaling your impact into the world.
Hmm. Okay, so you're talking about innovation starts with I. So let's talk about um, what does innovation mean to you, and then how is it different from self innovation? Because you talked about self innovation, so maybe that could be like a personal transformation or something like that. So what does innovation mean to you, and how is it different from self innovation?
Yeah, so innovation to me is about taking
Did you
existing
hear me?
things. Sorry. Innovation is about taking existing things and leveraging them in new ways. I actually interviewed 100 people during my book writing process, the research process, and many of them also agreed with that definition. And it was interesting to hear the different definitions of that. But what I found was that innovation isn't just about technology, and oftentimes we associate it with technology. And self-innovation, in my book, there's a lot about my personal story. This very home of mine had a fire. My building had a really bad fire many years ago, and I was forced to innovate when I'd lost my jobs, my visa. I basically lost everything that I had, and I had to move into my parents' home, and I had to figure out what am I going to do with my life. And I ended up, I got displaced from here, so I went on a eat, pray, self-love journey and went to India, to Thailand, to Bali to really try to find myself. And in that process, I ended up, coming back with more questions than answers. There's a whole story about that in the book. I don't want to spoil it. But essentially, what I found was that coming back and trying to, when I was forced to find a job within 2 weeks in the US to get a visa, I had 100 copies with different people and I asked for help. I learned a lot about myself. As I started opening up more and being more vulnerable and practicing what I call active introspection, where I'm connecting with different people, I'm reflecting on the advice that they're giving and incorporating it and growing through that process of the 100 coffee challenge. I learned a lot about myself, and it ended up, landing me a really interesting opportunity to work with the Middle East and Africa, trying to solve the problem of food security, and looking at hydroponics and insect farming and vertical farming and aquaponics and some really innovative solutions for food security, which I never would have imagined entering the space of food systems innovations. But it was through that coffee process and opening myself up to different people more than it felt comfortable to do is what led to that connection and led to more opportunities that were aligned to who I was actually becoming. So I was going from, SALEEMA 1.0 to 2.0 and slowly transitioning to SALEEMA 3.0. And so it was a very interesting process that I learned a lot about myself. And I think that's where innovation happens, in that process of self-innovation. Another example that I can give
Okay,
is Steve
fantastic.
Jobs.
Okay, good. Let's go to the. Okay,
Oh, I was going
go
to say
ahead.
another example is Steve Jobs. And
Go ahead.
Steve Jobs is an excellent example of self-innovation where, he
Okay.
was fired from his own company, but when he went on that journey to find enlightenment in India, and he spent time in India, and he started to find himself more, and he came back and was able to innovate, come back to Apple in a much more refreshed way, and that's where the innovation happened. And it was really through that personal transformation journey of self-awareness and trying to learn more about oneself. And even though, he came up with these amazing ideas, he was able to then put a team together to execute on them. And that's when innovation really happened. The personal transformation journey, I think, that we underestimate or we don't put enough emphasis on, because we often, look at the final product. We look at what has been created. We look at like the iPhone, but we don't really know what was behind all of that at the individual level of the visionary.
I'm already on the comment section. Thank you, Wendy. Wendy, yeah, Oh, so hello,
Hi,
hello.
I'm right here. I just went off because I wasn't sure what happened with the connection.
Oh yeah, I don't know what is happening today. I don't know. Okay, sorry. Wendy is here. Wendy Alexander. Wendy, good to see you. Thank you so much for validating what I guess on the show talked about. She said very true. She validated what you just said. Then this is another one. Okay, good. Let me see what. Yes, personal innovation. I went through that during my time in the middle. Oh, thank you, Wendy, for joining us on the show this afternoon. We appreciate you. And this is from Joko Kechuku Valentine. As usual, wonderful content, freely being those out. Thank you, Okechukwu, for being part of the show. Please continue. If you have questions, please bring them forward. We are here to answer your questions. My guest is prepared for you. Okay, good. Thank you. Sorry for that breaking transmission once again. I don't know why experiencing this today. It never happened before, but it's a pity that is happening today when we have our special guest on the show. Okay, so that's by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we're reaching you from the Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development Africa. And if you want to connect with us, quickly go to our website at www. Go to our website. It's showing on the screen now. Website www.ugwumbas.org. On social media, connect with us on the username at Ugwumba Leaders. Then you go to www.bit.ly/Ugwumba channel. We have a whole lot of resources for you there. If you want to learn how to, all of these shows are there. Then the pitching competition for Ugwumba Enterprise Challenge, all of them are there. The pitch decks from the Enterprise Challenge are all there. So in case you want to learn how to pitch your business before an investor and all of that. So that's a wonderful knowledge base for you to go and improve yourself. We're talking about self-innovation and self-transformation. So we have a whole lot of materials that can help you on our YouTube channel. Go to www.bit.ly/Ugwumba channel. That's where you have all those resources that I just talked about now, free of charge. So go there and enjoy yourself. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We are still on the show, and we are talking about how to, leverage your paths, for success in life, which is what hybridpreneurship is all about. And I guess on the show is no other than Professor SALEEMA Vellani, a professor of social entrepreneurship and strategies. Like I said before, while we started, it's a great privilege to have her on the show this afternoon. Great privilege, and we are not joking with it. Thank you, Prof, for being part of the show again. So let's continue with the discussion. So talking about passion, because when you talk about self-transformation, you cannot really do without passion. So let's know what role passion plays in building a successful business.
Sure. So the worst piece of advice I think anyone could give someone, especially a young entrepreneur, is to follow your passion. I think that oftentimes going that route ends up sometimes turning us off from our passions if we have to realize we have to make a profit and live off of our passions. There's certain things that are hobbies that should stay as hobbies, and there's certain things that can be monetized as a passion. But I think that building your business just around your passion is a bad way to start. I think that you need to start with how you can give value to other people and find your sweet spot. And usually it's not necessarily, entirely a passion that you would have just started with. It's something that's developed. And so, for example, when I started my current company, Ripple Impact, I've always been very passionate about helping entrepreneurs succeed. I never realized I could have a business model that supported that. But I started out saying, well, let's see how I can help other people who've been asking me for help on how to grow their business, how to build their platform, how to get a TEDx talk, how to grow their LinkedIn community. And I said, well, my thing is trying to give advice, and then I started realizing that people needed help on execution, and they needed more help on strategy, and they needed design help, they needed creative services, and that was not necessarily my passion of building a creative agency and doing all of that, because I'm not a designer, and as much as I really appreciate and I love it, it's not something that I would have built otherwise myself. But when the pandemic happened and things really changed, in my own life and career, I said, well, let's figure out how I can, take the passion of, wanting to help entrepreneurs and figure out how to combine it in a way that they'd be willing to pay for, a service that incorporated something else that they really want that I don't necessarily do. And that's also in my business positioning canvas in my book. And so it's a tool that helps you think about, just think about the business model canvas adapted, where it also incorporates not your solution, so things that you don't offer that your customers or your ideal customers are asking for. And so people needed that creative help, and I was like, that's not my area, that's not really what I'm even passionate about doing or good at doing. But it was taking what people wanted and what I could offer and finding a way to merge it all into one thing. And that's when Ripple Impact was born, because we're a business accelerator where we help entrepreneurs with strategy. We help them with design and, making them look beautiful, building their brands, creating a lot of their marketing assets, and doing everything design related, as well as helping them execute and grow, with their marketing strategy. So we're helping on those areas, but they can stay as a visionary. They can focus on what they're really good at. And I think it was going through that process of building Ripple Impact that made me realize that you can, incorporate some of your passions into your business, but you shouldn't just follow your passion. You have to do something that's uncomfortable. And for me, that uncomfortable part was creating the creative agency within the business model, which thankfully one of my co-founders was able to lead that aspect, since she became the creative director. And so I think that we shouldn't just follow our passion. We have to figure out what we're really good at and what people want and what we love doing, and then figure out what we want to test. And that's the whole finding your sweet spot tool again that I mentioned earlier. That's in my book as well. And again, it's figuring out what you excel at. What are the things people say that you're really good at? What are the things that you love doing? And the most important one is, what are the things that you're open to testing? I also explain it in my TED Talk. So if you find my TEDx on YouTube, you'll be able to learn more about the sweet spot mapping tool.
Okay, there's a takeaway for me from this, what you just said about passion. What it means is that, for you to easily turn your passion into a business, you need to first begin by adding values to others, their businesses, or even value to the society. And, from doing that, people will get to understand, your expertise in what you are doing. And then when you begin to offer them for pay, I think they'll be willing to pay. I think that's what you just said, right?
Exactly. You have to find that sweet spot of what they're willing to pay for, because oftentimes how we see ourselves is not how other people see us. And that's where it's key to understand, how do they see us, right? I was in the design thinking and innovation space doing all these workshops and speaking in different countries. And when the pandemic hit, what people saw in me were the people that were showing up to me, my audience, were entrepreneurs and people trying to start a business or grow their business or adapt and build their online presence. And I was like, this is interesting. I didn't really pay attention to this audience before. And they've been there. I just didn't really pay as much attention, because I was very focused on what I wanted to do and what I was passionate about and what I thought that I was great at. And not that I'm not great. I mean, I teach design thinking and I love it. And I still do a lot of work in innovation, but I had pretty much ignored, or not paid enough attention to this audience that had been following me and looking up to me and asking for help. And I had never really created a business to help them. I was always just giving advice here and there, but it never really was enough, because advice can only go so far. They needed help. They needed me to roll my sleeves up and grow my team to become their team. So our team grew, and now from 2 people, we're like 16 people now. And we're helping these different entrepreneurs by being their team, because they don't have to do everything themselves anymore.
Fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to connect with our guests, please quickly visit our website at www.SALEEMA, that's SALEEMA Vellani, VELLANI.com. one word, SALEEMA VELLANI, SALEEMAVELLANI, is on the screen. So you can go to our website. Then if you're on LinkedIn, please go to her and connect with her, linkedin.com/in/SALEEMA VELLANI. Her name, one word, in full. So connect with her so that you can maybe subscribe for any of her programs or services, or connect with her for whatever things that you would like to do with her. Thank you. If you can also further the discussion that we started on the show this afternoon. Okay, very good. So, okay, so some people get confused when you talk about entrepreneurship and innovation. So, as an expert, we would like to ask you, what is the connection between entrepreneurship and innovation?
Sure. So innovation is really important for an entrepreneur because it's what will help an entrepreneur reach success. Because entrepreneurship, there's a difference between, I teach my students this, between being, a startup founder or an entrepreneur versus a business owner. And with entrepreneurship, specifically, building a startup, you're trying to do something different. You're taking a non-obvious route to solving a problem, and it's interesting because I think that the connection is that there should be a lot of value on building ideas. I think that oftentimes we're just focused on solving problems, and that's often where we can get stuck when we're trying to find a problem to solve. I think the connection is with entrepreneurship and innovation is that we place a lot of value on, and should place a lot of value on, ideas. And when you have ideas, you can then position them, and then you can figure out what problem am I solving, right? Just with my Ripple Impact business, it was really trying to figure out, with the ideas, okay, well, maybe they need creative services. Maybe we can help them in this way. And we like, well, maybe we can build an accelerator and see, if that's going to help these entrepreneurs. And then we realized the problems that they really had as we went through that process of testing these new ideas. And same with a really good example is my translation business. So back in 2009, when I was I'd moved from Brazil to Italy, and I couldn't find a job during the financial crisis. I ended up, I had an idea that my brother gave me, and he was like, why don't you become a freelance translator and just do some translation work since you speak some other languages? And so I went online and I started getting translation projects, and I was winning a lot of them. Surprisingly, the gig economy was pretty small back then. There was, the market was the whole, there wasn't a lot of competition. So I was winning a lot of translation projects, and very soon after, I realized that, I don't love translating myself, and I'm not even that great at it. Being a perfectionist, it was taking me forever to do the work, but I was, it was getting a lot of the projects. And so one day a client asked, you just translated something from, into English, a really big project. Why don't you now translate this into like 10 other languages? And it was then that I realized I needed to incorporate a business, become a full-fledged entrepreneur. And it was really by accident. It was really out of necessity. It was not trying to become an entrepreneur. I didn't even call myself that. I didn't know I was an entrepreneur until years later when I came to the US and told my story and realized that entrepreneurship was cool. I was actually quite embarrassed about it at the time. It was because I couldn't get a job. And so the connection there is that I was forced to innovate, right? Because I was, in a crisis moment, and I innovated, and it led to entrepreneurship. And through entrepreneurship, I also then innovated. So it's like a cycle, like they go hand in hand when you're an entrepreneur. But innovation itself can also be done within an organization or in other areas without being an entrepreneur. So I think entrepreneurs need to innovate, and I think innovators or people doing innovation don't need to be entrepreneurs. And I think that's what makes them different.
Okay. I think that's interesting. You've been able to show beta. Someone is trying to create a solution for a problem of the society, and the other one is coming up with innovative and great ideas that will change how things are done. I think let me ask you, in the area of innovation, Now, is it a bad idea if someone picks a project, that is currently on, or a product, that is currently on, and tries to add something that makes it different from what is already on, or or is already in existence? So what can you say? Is it like copying or something? What can you say about that? Did you get my question?
Yeah, there's a really great book that I recommend that changed my mindset around this. It's called Steal Like an Artist. And it made me feel, especially someone coming from academia and research, I would feel really bad about, taking something without citing it and taking something that wasn't mine. But I realized that's really what innovation is, taking existing things and putting them together in new ways. And I think that we're in, a space right now, or an era where we're in the information era. So there's so much information out there. Google anything, any idea that you think is original. Originality is dead. Someone else has already thought of something similar, or maybe the exact same thing that you thought of, right? And so I think that it's key to figure out how you can make original combinations of existing ideas, and instead of trying to focus on coming up with a new idea, which may be something that people may or may not want. It's great to see what people do value and do want, and figure out how you can combine it into something that, doesn't exist yet in that combination. And a great example of that in my own work is the work that I did when I got that, when I was in that crisis moment and I got that opportunity to look at hydroponics and these different ways of solving food insecurity, combining refugees and hydroponics. No one had actually done before. Refugees were not new. There was a refugee crisis a few years ago, and hydroponics also has been around for centuries, but no one had really combined those different things and together. And so there was no research that had been done on that. And so we were like, okay, no one has done this before. We could totally fail at it. The story's in my book, but essentially combining that, creating that original combination is what led to the project being a success. And now we're seeing hydroponics being implemented in Africa and the Middle East and many parts of the world, and many times in refugee camps. If you go to Kenya and Djibouti, many different refugee camps, they're implementing hydroponics. And that was thankfully, the study that we did was the first one that we were the pioneers in that space. But again, innovation, it didn't start just, with nothing, and we just started from scratch. We looked at what were the things that were already existing and how do we combine that to solve a bigger problem in a way that no one has done before.
Very good, very good. Okay, let's go to the comment section and see if we have questions there. Okay. This is from Kesandu. What is it? Kesando, nice out in here, although network is not the best it can be. Oh my dear, I don't know why network is dealing with us this afternoon. Okay, but that, by the way, we thank you for being part of the show. This is from Grace Titilayo on my gate. Sorry, just joining. Grace, we thank you for joining. Steve, okay, I'm sure you're going to learn from our guest this afternoon. This is from okay, Adeze Onwubiko joining really late. Oh, Adeze, why did you join late? I'm sure you're going to learn from where you got us. Okay, the next is from Aaron. So happy to be here. I am really learning a lot. Thank you, Aaron Elekwachi. Ibekwe, thank you. Ibekwe, glad to be here. Thank you, Darlington Ibekwe. Thank you so much. Okay, this again is from the book, Still Like an Artist. Okay, he wants to know how to get the book. Is there anything you can say?
So if it's the
how
book,
can I get the book, Still Like an Artist?
Yeah, so the book Steal Like an Artist, it is available. It's a very nice book to have in your hands, because it has a lot of cool like infographics and it's just a really beautiful book. It's by Austin Kleon, and so you can get it online on Amazon. It's one of my favorite books. And then if you're interested in my book is coming out November 1st. It's also on Amazon if you want to pre-order it, the ebook. Or you can get my book on my website on SALEEMAVELLANI.com/book, or you can even get it on innovationstartswithI.com, which will lead to the same page.
Okay, so Okay, yeah, your book is available on your website, right?
It is available on my website. It's also on Amazon right now.
Your book, will it be available okay, on Amazon? Okay, so like, okay, he was asking about Still Like an Artist. So is Still Like an Artist available on Amazon?
Yeah, it's been around for a few years now.
Okay, okay, good. So Aaron Elekwachi, you can get Still Like an Artist on Amazon. I think who is the author? Who the author is, in case he wants to search for it.
It's Austin Cleon.
Who is the author?
Austin
Austin
Cleon.
Clean. Okay. So Aaron Elekwachi, Austin. Okay, I'll paste it. I'll paste it on the yeah. I'll paste it on the screen so that you can, or even on the comment section, so that you can yeah, you can get the name clearly. Okay, good. So Prof, you will send me the name of the author so that I can send to them on the comment section, so that they will be able, anyone that is interested, to have the book and buy from Amazon. Okay, good. And this is from us and Enquire Johnson. Quite interesting. Innovation and entrepreneurship is the way forward in the present world. The world we live in is dynamic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Johnson and Enquire. Thank you so much. Aaron, please, can you spell out your website? The website is on the screen. SALEEMAVELLANI.com is on the screen. I will also put it on the comment section, but you can see it on the screen. www.saleema, SALEEMA Vellani, VELLANI.com is on the screen right away. Pick it there and connect with her. The book will be available on the 1st of November. That's I'm talking about Innovation Starts with I. It will be available on the 1st of October. Am I correct?
On the 1st of November, it will be available on the ebook, will be available on Amazon. You can also get it on my website. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So
this is from Grace Titilayo. Go ahead.
No, I just said that I have the books. They're actually being printed right now, and they're being shipped to me right now. So I'm going to be sending them out to anyone that wants a personally signed book. They can get it on the Indiegogo campaign for this book, which we raised. We raised over $50,000 for this book project, which was a entrepreneurial venture of its own, which also helped launch Ripple Impact. But the book is now, and it's now being printed, and it's going to be shipped out very soon. I'll be signing copies soon, and it will be available on Amazon. It's available now for pre-order on Amazon. So.
Okay. So yeah, you will send me the details so that I can publish, for their attention. Grace is saying my entrepreneurship is focused on using the IOX Plus oximeter with its medical grade data accuracy, not affected by skin tone or low blood, a handy device to save the lives of less privileged women in the remote communities in Nigeria. I'm a fan of Cosma Chef and eclectic, caring, and empathic nurse with high acumen and passion. Oh, Grace, thank you so much for being part of the show. Very soon, the IOX Plus oximeter will be available so that you can start your business in Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is from Bashiru. Bashiru, this is good. Thank you, Bashiru. Okay, Dalbra. Okay, Dabra Eyambiri Ofoni, good to be here. Dabra, we thank you for being part of the show. I'm sure you are learning from the expert herself. She's an innovation strategist, and I'm sure that by the time you leave here today, you will be fully loaded with so many takeaways that will change your life and your business. Also, at this juncture, I want to go back to the question, the discussion. So because of time, we are almost running out of time. Okay, so Prof, can you share your personal transformation story with us quickly? your personal transformation story?
Yeah, well, that's a long one, but essentially, you can read about it in my book. It has the whole story, but essentially, when I was faced with a life quake, when my life was going really well, I checked off the boxes of success. I just bought this house. I had, two jobs that were really, I thought were my dream jobs. I was traveling and working from around the world. I had a co-working space. I thought everything was going the way that it should be going. And interestingly, deep inside, there was something that was bothering me, but I didn't listen to my inner voice. And I kind of put it off. And sometimes I would not be very happy, or would, go into workaholism and bury, a lot of these thoughts and just work. And eventually I ended up losing both those jobs, and this building had a really bad fire. So, I was faced with having to not be able to access my home for 6 to 9 months, and I lost my visa. I'm Canadian, and I was living here in the United States, and I lost my visa when I lost my jobs. And so I was really forced to innovate and figure out how do I go from where I was really successful to coming down and having to start again from scratch and rebuild myself, emotionally, financially, in many different ways, and had to start where I never thought I would hit, a hole and hit rock bottom. And sometimes we need to hit rock bottom in order and fail in order to succeed. And you really go through a lot during that period of failure. But you also go through a period where you can rebuild and redesign your life and look at it as an opportunity to redesign your life and reinvent yourself. And so that journey, like I mentioned earlier, was when I ended up on that Eat, Pray, Self-Love trip to India, Thailand, and Bali, and tried to discover myself. And I did a lot of this inner work, and I went to ashrams, did meditation, yoga, a lot of stuff. But ultimately that stuff was all great, and it was, a bit helpful. It was nice to feel pampered, but I realized that self-care and taking care of oneself isn't just about trying to feel good. It's about getting out of our comfort zone. It was when I tried to come back into the US when I was denied entry into the country from Canada. And the immigration officer, I went the next day, and he gave me 2 weeks to find a job and to get paperwork done. And so I had 2 weeks in Washington, D.C. to find a job. And that's when I scheduled 10 coffees a day with different people that I knew, people that I sort of knew, people that were outside of my industry, and was just trying to connect and ask for help. And it was through those 100 coffees, I landed a couple different opportunities, and I took the one that was focused on the refugees and hydroponics and solving that problem. Even though I knew nothing about that, never had a plant, never knew any, I didn't know anything about agriculture, and I also had never worked with refugees before. And so it was interesting how hitting rock bottom enabled me to redesign my life, but not in a way that was comfortable. It was definitely uncomfortable. I had to hustle. I had to learn a lot. I had to be humble and say, I don't know anything about this, but it also gave me the drive. Also because I empathized a lot with, the refugees, having been displaced myself while I was working on the project. It led me to, be able to make a big impact through the research that we did, which now we're continuing to do more research and publish another book soon on the circular economy and actually, insect farming and hydroponics in Africa. So we're doing a lot of research and interesting work around there on fragile and conflict affected countries in Africa, and how do we solve food insecurity using these innovative methods. And so ultimately, my personal transformation, that was my biggest life quake. And I think we go through throughout 3 to 5 life quakes throughout our lives, is what Bruce Feiler says in his book, Life is in the Transitions. But essentially, I think that life quakes, what we can do to be proactive and not go through such a bad life quake, is to constantly be proactively reinventing ourselves. And that's what my book aims to do, is help people reinvent themselves proactively, both themselves, their businesses, so you don't have to have such bad crises moments.
Okay, talking about reinventing yourself, even when you think you have lost everything, I think is a wonderful transformation that you have there. Okay, so let's now find out, for you, as a consultant and as a leader in this space, this we discover this.
A little
Did
bit.
you hear me?
No.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you hear me? Okay. Okay. The question is on the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
what steps can people take? So I would say practicing the tools that are in my book are really helpful, because this book will give you the answer to a lot of those, those questions that you have, and the ways that, tools to actually help you navigate the process of transformation and reinvention proactively. Also, talking to other people, going on a 100 coffee challenge is a really great way. And there's a tool that's also on my website, on innovationstartsI.com, or on my website, SALEEMAVELLANI.com/book. And you can get the 100 coffee challenge tool, which is essentially a Google sheet, like a spreadsheet, to help you manage those 100 coffees. So talking to, people that you know, people that you don't know, people that are outside of your industry, there's a lot of value. Just those relationships are key, but you can also approach them, making it about them and focusing on learning as much as possible. Having organic conversations, but trying to see if you can learn about yourself in that process. And it's interesting how even people that don't know you very well, will tell you a lot about how you show up, and potential career opportunities or paths that you can take.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, to connect with us on Facebook, like I said before, these are social media handles. You can connect with us on Facebook at facebook.com/Ugwumba Leaders. On Instagram, instagram.com/Ugwumba Leaders. Then on LinkedIn is linkedin.com/company/Ugwumba Leaders. So that's how you can connect with us on social media, follow us, and then be abreast of all our updates and future activities. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We are progressing. By the grace of God, we are almost done, despite the hitches that we have experienced, since we started. But we are almost done. It's been really interesting having Professor SALEEMA VELLANI on the show this afternoon. Prof, I think there's a question for you on the comment section. Let me bring it for your attention. And this one is from Aaron Elekwachi. Okay, Aaron is here again. He's saying, speaking on the comparison between entrepreneurship and innovation, where will you put someone who is an affiliate marketer? Is he an entrepreneur or a business owner?
That's a good question. I think that it really depends on the strategy. So you could be both an entrepreneur and a business owner, but I mean, if it's a more traditional business model where you have some sustainable revenue coming in, and you have a more, there's a whole chart that I have that explains the difference between startup founder versus business owner. And I think if you're doing something innovative that hasn't been necessarily done in the exact same way that you're doing, or that you have a specific market that you're targeting, and there's something innovative about the way that you're approaching the affiliate marketing, then you could be an entrepreneur. But a business owner is more, think about like the brick and mortar, think about like, the restaurant down the street that's a franchise or something, and somebody owns the business, and it already has, it's like clock in, clock out. It has a very sustainable, sort of stable model. But entrepreneur is a whole different ballgame, where usually there's the personal transformation journeys involved. Usually there's more innovation happening with entrepreneurship, and it really depends. I would need to learn more about what kind of affiliate marketer, what's the strategy that you're doing. I would actually say that affiliate marketers are often hybridpreneurs as well. Oftentimes they have, an interesting model of doing the affiliate marketing, but they're doing other things as well.
Yeah. For me, I wanted to say I wanted to categorize it under hybridpreneurship, because here we call it side hustle. Side hustle. You see some people working in government or in the private sector. They also engage in affiliate marketing, so they call it side hustle. So I think it's a typical example of hybridpreneurship at work, right?
Exactly.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah, entrepreneurship at work.
Okay. See okay, good. See, this is a breaking news from This is a breaking news from my boss. Ugwumba Uchemosu, he's saying, thank you, Prof, for this wonderful lecture. The center will be inviting you to Nigeria for our enterprise challenge coming up by December. Ooh, I think this is a breaking news. It's a breaking news. We are going to invite you to Nigeria for our enterprise challenge coming by December. Thank you for giving us your option for this show. By the way, the enterprise challenge is our job creation competition, that have business ideas that we can help transform into business ventures and social enterprises. So that's what we do, with the enterprise challenge, and by the grace of God, it's been very, very, and as we speak, over 5,000 young people have been supported, to launch out their ideas into startups and as well as SMEs. So that is a wonderful project that is also gaining popularity, here in Nigeria and across the African continent. Then we have partners in the UK, we have in the US, and almost around the world who are, supporting this project. We raise young people, we identify them from, their schools, from their rural areas, those that have fantastic ideas, and we help them launch out and connect them with global opportunities, global investment opportunities. So that's what we do at the Ugwumba Enterprise Challenge, and it's been very, very successful. The 2021 edition, we have already launched out the call for applications, and we have started receiving, applications from those that are interested across the country. So it's a fantastic opportunity that we give to young people, to get trained and also stand a chance to win prizes. We're about 1 million naira this year. We're going to give 1 million naira to 3 different businesses, who will be selected at the grand finale as the best business ideas. Each of them will receive 1 million naira from the center. And here, my boss, the president of Ugwumba Center for Leadership in Africa, is inviting you to Nigeria, to be part of the enterprise challenge, maybe as a keynote speaker. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And so, how do you feel about this?
Amazing. That would be wonderful. I'm excited.
Can you hear me?
Nigeria is on my list for the book tour, so I'm really excited. That would be wonderful.
Have you been to Nigeria before? Have you been here before?
I have not, but I've worked a lot with Nigerians. I've lived with Nigerians. I've done so many things with Nigeria, and I just have not been there yet. But I really want to go to Lagos and Abuja. And I even have Nigerian clothing, dresses. I know a lot about Nigeria. I just have not been, but I've been to other parts of West Africa and other parts all over Africa, just not Nigeria. So I'm looking forward to coming.
Oh, you've been to other African countries, but the giant of Africa have not been here. That's an error, and we are going to correct the error.
My parents are from Tanzania.
Okay. So, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you for. Okay, good. Aaron, what is it again? Okay, so what exactly is it that line that separates the two, entrepreneurship, business owner? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that's the question.
Yeah. So according to Oxford, I mean, there's a whole, I have a whole table that explains the differences in my entrepreneurship course. But the main difference is, an entrepreneur is a person that organizes and operates a business. This is according to Oxford, and they take on greater than normal financial risks to do so. And this is where you see entrepreneurs hustling to try to solve some problem that they're either really passionate about solving, or they're, really invested in solving a specific problem. Versus a business owner, which is an individual who owns a business in an attempt to profit from the successful operation of the company. So the business owner is more focused on getting to profit fast and having a successful operation of the company. The starter, founder, or the entrepreneur is more focused on trying to solve a problem and will take on, a lot of financial risk in order to do so.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to say, but it's really a great opportunity to have you on the show. This is 1 hour 9 minutes we've been here, despite the network challenges. It's been we've been through all of this and really interesting and educative conversation. Thank you so much, Professor, for being part of the show, and our guests Aaron and Co. Thank you, my boss Ugwumba Uchemosu. Thank you for being part of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise it's not going to be like this again. I don't know what happened today, but we are going to really work on this to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So sorry for everything. And talking about our guests, we really appreciate the sacrifice that you made to be here on the show this afternoon. It's really a privilege to have you. We are so happy, so grateful, for having you on the show. So before I let you go, do you have anything to say? Your final word?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long one, but I would say that, just if there's anything that you really want to do, any ideas that you have, don't give up on them. It might not be the right time. You might not have the right team or technology, but park them and do your best to figure out how you can make that idea happen in the future, or maybe look at it in a different way. And so I think whenever you have an idea, don't worry if the world thinks you might be crazy, or don't judge yourself. Figure out if you can make it happen now or in the future, and figure out what you need to do to make it happen. Whenever you have a great idea, don't dump it until you've actually vetted and validated it.
Don't dump any idea, any good idea you have. Just try and see how it works. Try and do something. Who knows? It might be the next big thing to be celebrated in Africa. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, permit me to let our guest leave us because she's very busy. It's been a wonderful privilege to have her on the show. This is over 1 hour. She's been here with us. So, Prof, thank you so much once again on behalf of my president, Ugwumba Uchemosu, and the team here. I thank you so much for obliging us, this opportunity to be on the show. It's a great privilege, and we thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Remy. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.